Hello and welcome to Question Time. I'm Benga Ashiru. In today's episode, we will turn our focus on the state of Nigerian prisons. Please join in this conversation. Send us a comment on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. Nigeria spends an incredible 31.5 million naira every day to feed 70,000 prisoners. And with the increasing number of inmates currently awaiting trial, this figure is unlikely to reduce in the near future. In fact, with 70% of the nation's inmates in that category, it's not surprising that they have now become a potential security risk. How long can Nigerians continue to foot this huge bill, and what's the Nigerian Prison Service doing to tackle the nightmare of recurring prison breaks? I had a chat with the Comptroller General of the Nigerian prisons, Ahmed. He puts this and other issues into perspective.
I came sometimes in assumed duty in May 2016. And when I assumed duty, I found that like any other institution in Nigeria, the Nigerian Prison Service is also saddled with certain problems. One, there's the issue of discipline. There was the issue of staff welfare. There was the issue of infrastructural decay. There was the issue of logistics. There was the issue of reformation or rehabilitation of prisoners, among others, a myriad of other problems that confronted the Nigerian Prison Service in 2016.
You talked about discipline. What specifically do you mean when you talk about discipline?
Discipline is first, because no institution thrives on the issue of lawlessness. And therefore, what we did in 2016 to now was to attempt to restore discipline in the service, to punish erring officers, because for a very long time, officers commit offenses by allowing escape, by allowing so many other things, trafficking and other related offenses that affects prison discipline itself in general, and therefore affect the overall performance of the Nigerian Prison Service. And therefore, my first priority was to restore discipline to ensure that things are done rightly.
We've had situation of jailbreaks now. This might be connected to logistics now. What is responsible for jailbreaks?
You see, if you rightly pointed out, I was confronted with the issue of jailbreaks when we come. And that part of why we have that kind of problem is the issue not only lack of staff in the prison, but there was also general indiscipline within the service itself, which allows the staff to do and perform their duties not in accordance with the rules and regulations of the prison service, but out of what they think they want. Because if escape occur, it takes a very long time for staff to be punished. If staff commit any offense against prison discipline, it's never punished. And therefore, the staff took for granted that these issues can just be swept under the carpet. And I said, no, this is no longer the case. It should no longer be business as usual. And therefore, we must restore discipline. And in doing that, we have restored and stopped the various jailbreaks that we have had. There are issues with jailbreak, but one of the greatest issues of jailbreak, not only under staffing and infrastructural upgrade, but the issue of discipline, and which you have tackled. And I'm happy to report that for the last 7 or 8 months, we have not heard of any jailbreak. We have had quiet and calm.
But what is responsible for, what is the underlying factor responsible for jailbreaks?
No, what I said that there was an institutional, let me say, failure in terms of punishing staff who erred, and it is not so fast. But now under my administration and under the current Minister of Interior, who is the chairman of the Civil Defense, Immigration, Fire and Prison Services Board, we took the issue of discipline very, very seriously. And where we refer matters to the board, where it falls within the purview of the board acts very swiftly, and now staff have realized that it is important for them to do their work so that they earn their living with that, or otherwise they will be shown the way out. And their performance have been very superb.
Does that suggest in any way that some of the officials of the Nigerian Prison Service are in complicity of some of these jailbreaks?
No. No, I will not say they have a hand in the jailbreak. Like in various jailbreaks that occurred within the period from Cotton Karfe to Abakaliki to Kuje prison. Kuje prison was an escape of about two inmates, which is very sad and very unfortunate. But we have identified so many issues. Among the issues that we identified, there was issue of discipline and the way our staff perform their duties. But others will also has to do with infrastructure. In some of them, like when we take Abakaliki, it is a very simple issue which the prisoners need to contain because we wanted to restore those things, our routine that was not being done for a very long time, and that routine is searching. It is important that every person that is entering into the prison is searched. But that was not done for a very long time. When I came on board, I insisted that searching must be restored. And searching prevents many unprohibited items from getting into the prison, such as drugs, such as Indian hemp, such as weapons of various kinds, and such of information to get out of the prison. That was not done. They resisted searching, and the infrastructure was suitable because they are made of wooden doors.
So how can the jailbreaks be prevented?
Jailbreaks can be prevented by so many ways, and that's what we have done. We need more staff to be able to man these prisons. What I have done is a temporary measure to now collapse the shifts from 3 to 2 so that we will have enough staff in the prisons.